to
Yes.
kind of touch on that as well is, from getting started full time, and I guess you've kind of been in this for a couple of years, what are some different things that, you've learned, moving your business in a new direction? And, maybe you can even talk about how you just, got your real estate license not too, well, about a year ago, and then how that's kind of changed your business in the past year as well. And, what has that done? Because a lot of investors are moving in that direction. And we just had a couple of interviews talking, about that topic, just the past couple of weeks as well. So,
Yeah. So kind of with that, I'm on forums and, of course, social media, and we hear, I think some of the things that we're hearing, the regulations coming, there's been some unscrupulous type investors, and then there's just unscrupulous type people in any kind of business. But, how can that be corrected? And, some of the stuff that came down in Oklahoma, that's like just one state away from me. Um, Plus, really, getting a license for me is something that I just thought about for a while. And it was just something that I felt like, okay, this is something I'd like to do. And I talked to several people, agents and investors. And then, nothing they told me was really negative about it. So I kind of put it in the back of my head that I would eventually become a realtor as well. And, so eventually, what happened, what the turning point was, buying distressed property, on, of course, the commission side. I saw what the agent made. They made a total of 32,000, and, we allowed them to negotiate. This was on a commercial property with 3 houses. And, I told them, yeah, you can, represent us. But essentially they were actually friends with the seller, and I was still doing the negotiation. So I felt like, in that point, I kind of gave up $16,000 that could have essentially been down to my bottom line. So I'm like, okay, this is the deal. This is where I'm
yeah.
making the decision. I'm now going to be a realtor as well, because, that $16,000, it could have, in previous deals, I only saw it as small chunks, here and there. But this one, it was kind of like, it was more impactful, and so it was like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's not a small amount of money, right? So a lot of real estate agents or a lot of real estate investors become agents for that exact reason, is so that they're saving money on their deals, especially flippers who have to, list their properties and sell them. They're not necessarily keeping, many properties. No, they might keep a few, but really their business is to go in and flip it and make the return on the appreciation, the forced appreciation that they have. So I think
Right.
having your license, that is one of the key reasons why a lot of investors are ending up, especially now with, the additional regulations on some of the things that are happening. Because I mean, maybe you can give your opinion on this as well, because you've been on, both sides of the industry. I think you're still in, you're still in both sides of the industry. That,
Mhm.
investing is kind of a, it's a less regulated branch of the real estate industry, where people can kind of just go in. We hear the wholesaler stories and different things like that. But, on the agent side, it's a much more litigious, a much more regulated side of the industry. So I think a lot
Right.
of investors have the mindset where if they get their license, then there's certain things that they can't do. So maybe you can kind of talk about like why having your license has actually, improved your business overall, not just on the saving your commission side, but, what has it done for your current business, and how you're able to expand your marketing, as well.
Yeah. So, what it's done differently, I think, is just, there's more trust with, if someone asks me if I'm a realtor, I said, I do,
Yeah.
of course, let them know, yes, I am a realtor. If I'm approaching them as an investor, I do say, yes, yes, I am a realtor. I'm a licensed realtor. I do want to buy this. I'm also an investor. So I do want to purchase this property as an
Right.
investment. So yeah, I want to, make sure I address it, but they're like, oh, okay. So there's inherently going to be trust factor when you tell people that you are a realtor.
Mhm.
So that part, for sure, is something that, I can have and not say that, um, yeah, that's part of my business. So, So they, and it should be, right, because there is more regulation, there's more oversight, there is a something that the code of ethics that you of course must abide by, and that's something that I feel like I hold myself to really high standards. So I had no issue with the code of ethics or those types of things that I, going through the training and going through all the licensing part of being a real estate agent. So yeah, just letting people know I am a realtor, and you can trust me with with the purchase of the house, and there's accountability if anything shady kind of would happen, but not with me.
Right. Yeah. And I think a lot of investors are afraid, I guess, that they can't do certain things
Mhm.
if they become a licensed agent. And then from, everything that I've heard, that's the complete
Right.
opposite, right? It's
Right.
completely untrue.
Yeah. Right. Correct. Yeah. So there's you just of course need to disclose that you're a realtor when you're making a contract, but outside of that, there's really not anything that you're I mean, at the end of the day, you're still a buyer, and so there's not something that says that you really can't do that. I mean, it's just another part of your business. So no, I had never had any issue making offers and just disclosing I'm a realtor. I'm licensed in the state of Texas, and it's just something to disclose, just like anything else.